It's a balmy 3 degrees, I think, at the moment in Manchester tonight. Clearest autumn day you've ever seen, and it's fucking freezing. Hence the furry get up. So yeah, let's just get everything where I need it. Alright, same as after the last race. I've got I'm going to start with some power rankings. Some power rankings coming up for you. What happened in Misano? We're going to figure it all out, get our head around it, move some guys up and down the rankings, and then we're going to move on to our fantasy MotoGP stuff for this week. It's a very interesting week because, as I'm sure you've heard, Marc Marquez is out of the Grand Prix with injury, training injury. Bit of a shame for him. He's red hot at the moment. But I think, spoiler alert, I think we might be trading him out this week. So let's see what we're going to do. But first, like I said, jumping straight into the power rankings. Obviously with MotoGP, we have a world champion, and we'll talk about him later on when we get into the power rankings. He's going to feature. And then Moto2, Moto3, we had some really big title moments, potentially title defining moments and title winning moments as we head into the next round. So let's jump into it. So at number 10, we do have, with just getting himself right in there right at the end, 2 rounds to go now, debuting a debutant in the power rankings this week is Moto2's Augusto Fernandez. And Augusto's done a very good job. He's been very consistent of late. And to be honest, outside of the top sort of 8 or 9 in my rankings, there's not really that many riders that are really impressing me at the moment. And no one's really been consistent or good enough to really crack it. And look, Sam Lowes has not made our top 10 after he won in Moto2. And Fernandez has with his podium. But if you look at the last... I like to talk with my hands. If you look at the last few weeks and the last 3 or 4 races and things like that, Fernandez has just been a little bit better than Lowes. Still think he was probably more deserving of the 10th spot. He's knocked Aleix Spargo out of the top 10. He's the only one that drops out this week. At number 9, dropping down 2 places. Where did he come this week? Did he come anywhere? He's crashed. Joan Mir dropping down 2 places with a DNF. Yeah, not much else to say about Joan Mir. Still holds his position in the championship, but he's not been that exciting, has he? At number 8, upper position, and look, a bit harsh that he didn't go up higher again. I did this to him 2 weeks in a row. He's only been just chipping away at the 1 position at a time at the top 10. It's Enea Bastianini. Mega ride again. This guy is seriously impressive. Great finish to the season. He's taken all that momentum. I'm sure it's going to go through Portimao and into Valencia and straight onto testing and into next season on what will hopefully be a more competitive spec version of his Ducati for the next season. And real talent, this guy, real talent. Still going, still plugging away. And watch out for him. At number 7, a harsh 3 position drop, but he's thrown the title away. And when I say throw the title away, I mean he was never going to win it anyway, was he? Pecco Bagnaia, but was leading, looked comfortable, bend it, and he's down 3 spots because, he's no longer mathematically capable of winning the title. Like I said, harsh drop, but you'll see why, because I've got movement going up and down around him. At number 6 is Marquez, up 2 more spots. Another good ride from him. And like I said, very disappointing for him. In all the form in the world that you could possibly want to have, he's absolutely flying at the moment. Up a training injury. I don't know much about it, to be honest. I don't know a lot of the details, but yeah, look, he's injured. He won't be racing. Hopefully be back for Valencia so he can try and get another win under his belt before the season is up. At number 5, now, want to talk about title-defining performances in other classes. This is the first one we're going to talk about. It's Pedro Acosta. Somehow scrapped his way to 3rd in that when he just did not look like he really had the pace, and could have easily finished 5th, 6th, 7th there and just really handed a chunk of points to Dennis Foggia, who was brilliant, who we will talk about later. But look, I thought this was quite impressive in the end to do what he did. If my memory serves me correctly, late in the race, managed to make up positions and get himself onto the podium. And I think that's his title-winning ride. I think that is it. I think it'll be good enough now. The points gap, he's kind of left it big enough now for 2 more races that I think he's going to get away with it, despite Foggia being on absolute fire. Up another place, and the second title-defining ride of the lower classes was Remy Gardner. And not so much that his ride was title. I mean, he's in the upper place because I've dropped Bagnaia down a few. And I think being 18 points ahead with 2 rounds to go is worth going up a place, even though your performance wasn't that good. But I will say about Remy, with all the Australian bias in the world, I actually think this was a really nice job he did here. He didn't have the pace, qualified really poorly. Fernandez looked like he was just braining it. Fernandez was in the championship lead at the point that he went down, I do believe. And he got lucky. He did get lucky. He's extended his championship lead. You know, at the end of the day, he stayed on. He's brought it home in 7th. He's had a couple of guys crash in front of him. Whatever. He's not going to complain. He's had a bad day. He's had 2 bad weeks in a row, really, when you look at the US. He's had a bad race there, and he's had a bad race here. Not as bad here, but at the end of the day, he stayed on. He got his points, and he goes very much in as the favourite into the last 2 races to hold on. And look, like I said, Australian biased. Yeah, I genuinely, as much as I think Raul Fernandez is a generational talent, and I know a lot of, he probably got getting a lot of fans out there for his performances, and he's been exceptional, but I've got to see Remy win this thing. I've got to see another Australian world champion here. Come on, Remy, get there. Come on, son. Come on, lad. Speaking of Raul Fernandez, we've spoken about him a little bit there. He's at number 3 now. He's dropped a place. I was reluctant to drop him more than that. I didn't want to drop him below Remy in the power rankings because still, form-wise, over the last few races, Remy obviously always is good and consistent and in and around the top 3. But Raul Fernandez's form has been crazy good. So I've dropped him 1 place for the crash and maybe the handing over the world title. He's still in with it. I mean, if he goes and just wins the next 2, that means Remy's pretty much got to finish in the top 3. For those 2 races. With a lot of pressure, he can put a lot of pressure on Remy, and he still is not out of this. At number 2, the inform man in the whole paddock, Dennis Foggia, does it again. Again. This guy's unreal. He'll be regretting those first few races where in the first 5 races he only finished 1 or something like that. Just take one of those that he's DNF'd, one of those 4 or 5 or whatever it was, and just throw in a top 5, which we know that when he finishes on the podium, because every race he's finished this season, he's finished on the podium. Let's just say it's top 5. Benefit of the doubt to Pedro. Dennis, he's right in this. It's remarkable. That has cost him. You know, he was basically in the same boat as John McPhee after about 5 races, and somehow he's ended up in a title fight with 2 races to go. Remarkable stuff. Dennis Foggia's a star. And at number 1, your new world champion is Fabio Quartararo. Well done, Fabs. What a guy. Good season. What a ride. He was good again, and he's just. I think honestly in these power rankings, not to spoil who's going to win, but I think the only people that can drop him from number 1 now are actually if Fernandez or Foggia could come from behind and win their titles now. With 2 wins in a row, basically is what it's going to take. And that's if Fabio doesn't go bang, bang and win the next 2. Because if he does that, he's going to be number 1. Out of these, it's hard to see any of these next, from 5th to 2nd that I've got here. You can see them. Which side is that going to be on? I want to do my graphics. 5th to 2nd. Oh, God. I mean, they'd have to win both and win the world title. And more so for the guys that are coming from behind with all the form on the behind them, Foggia and Fernandez, probably the only ones that I think can probably knock Fabio off here. Looking ahead, he's a world champion, and it's thoroughly deserved, and I think he's been great. And with all that out of the way, let's talk fantasy. Okay, so looking at it this way, I'm getting ahead of myself. We always look at the leagues first and see how we did. And it's the first time we actually had a really good week for once. 130 points. Lovely. Got green arrows everywhere. LTV Sportscast Bragging Rights League, which is our friend Leighton's league. We'll leave a link to his podcast, his channel on Spotify, in the description below. As always, make sure you click on it. I love going on there, having a chat with Leighton and the guys, and thank you very much for having me on. And that's that. And let's see what we're going to do. We've got a bit of healthy chunk of salary cap remaining, which is important. So 1.4 million remaining. Now, if we take out Marc, which is what we're going to do, is be a bit aggressive here. No point hanging on to him here. 2 races to go. 5.2 in the bank. We can have anyone, right? We can have absolutely anyone we want. We could have Pecco. But there is a kind of move I want to have a look at here. There's a rider that I'm kind of thinking could be a bit of an X factor for us. And at this point, who gives a shit, right? Let's just see if something works out for us. And I like the look of another late season hometown hero salvo for us of Miguel Oliveira. I don't know why, but let's just give it a go. Hopefully he wins the race. Yeah. And I'm actually going to leave him as a gold rider because I'm just going to back him in. So that's that. That's what I'm going to do this week. We're almost home and hosed, guys. We're almost there. We've got another couple of these videos to go. One more fantasy video it'll be after this one. 2 more power ranking videos with our final power rankings coming after Valencia. Thanks for watching again. If you managed to stay through to the end of the video, as always, I appreciate it. If you could do me a big favor and hit like and leave a comment. And absolutely subscribe so you can see all these great videos that are going to come. Enjoy Portimao. It's a cracking circuit. If it's cold where you are, like it's cold here, you know, good luck. And we will see you on the next one. Bye. Oh, and I forgot, guys. I did actually promise a big shout out to my best friend and nephew, 7-year-old Stefan, over in Australia. He's not quite a MotoGP fan yet, but he'll get there. He's learning through the videos like the rest of us. And have a good one, Steph. You're a ledge.